Clint Buchanan, if you drove all the way up here just to say you're sorry, you're going to have a very long drive back. Roger.
Hello, Victoria.
How nice to see you. You'll never know how nice.
Well, I hope I'm not intruding. I know how much you value your privacy up here.
No, don't be silly. Please, come in. I was just about to make some tea. Will you join me?
No, thank you. I won't be that long.
Oh, you look very serious. Did I forget to sign some papers when you were here yesterday?
No, this isn't centennial business. I've been doing a lot of thinking since yesterday. And I've decided to come up here and try to get you to go home.
Just in the hallway, and Judge Carlin was nice enough to let John bring Gabrielle into his office, and Dan Willock was there, so he's taking care of her right now. How are you doing? I'm worried a little about you. You want to go out and take a walk or something in the park? I think you'd feel much better. That way, when you get back to the stand, you can feel fresh.
Oh, so I can do some more damage, huh? I'm looking forward to going back and sitting in that seat again. What am I going to do this time, Megan? How am I going to break Gabrielle's heart again?
Look, you are not responsible for what happened.
If I'm not, who is? Her for making me sit up there and say I never loved her, and then the next thing I see, she's losing consciousness. No doubting it now.
No doubting what?
Yesterday, Gabrielle said she loved me. Now I know she really meant it.
Dan?
Gabrielle, you fainted. You're going to be just fine.
Yes, I remember. Oh, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Don't worry about the judge. He understands.
I'm trying. Now that you've rejoined the land of the living, court will reconvene in an hour. I strongly suggest you get a hold of yourself and spare us any more theatrics.
Well, that judge is a real sweetheart, isn't he? Kind of makes you long for the judge who removed himself.
Judge Carlin is unimportant, like everything else.
Don't think. Just try and conserve your energy, okay?
John, after what I heard today in that courtroom, there is no need in prolonging this agony any longer. I'm going back in that court and I'm changing my plea to guilty.
Here's what you do when you don't find the rainbows in this time. Here's where you go when it looks like the rain won't end. Don't cry. I'll give you tomorrow. Let me be the one to share it with. And each day that follows, 'cause we only have one life to live.
Talking to Gabrielle yesterday, but it doesn't come as any big shock that she's in love with you.
The big shock was she said it out loud, and the next thing she's fainting here today.
Max, she was reacting to the truth of the situation, and, well, no matter how hard it was for her to hear it, I think it's better.
Better? You were here. You saw what it did to her.
Listen, you did her a favor, okay? She's facing a very uncertain time right now. She could spend a lot of time in prison. Do you think it's good for her to have false hopes about where you are in her life? Look, I know that she's hurting, and she's going to hurt for a while, but I'm sure that she's going to get over it. And the sooner she stops deluding herself about you, the sooner she's going to be able to deal with her future.
What do you say? You make me sound like I was a prince today.
Well, Max, come on, you're always a prince in my book. Maybe that's because when I was young, I had a dog named Prince. You kind of remind me of him. Hey, I'm just trying to joke around, you know? You can't beat yourself up about this forever.
Somebody else I'd like to beat up.
Max, no, you can't blame her for doing his job.
You want to bet? And maybe you're right. Maybe it's better that I told Gabrielle I never loved her, but you didn't have to get it out of me in such a cruel way.
Max, sometimes there's no gentle way at getting at the truth.
And sometimes people enjoy their work just a little bit too much. I'm gonna let Mr. Callison know exactly what I think of his tactics.
No, Max, look, you're not going to help Gabrielle by rushing off and fighting with Herb.
Thanks to Herb, Gabrielle's been punished more than any jury could ever punish her. And I'll be damned if I'm gonna let him get away with it.
Max, come on. My brother's certainly hard to figure out, isn't he? Or maybe not. What? Well, for someone who claims not to love Gabrielle, he sure has a funny way of showing it.
You know, that's running the family, Andy. You have a way of saying the wrong thing at the wrong time.
I am not lightheaded or confused. I know exactly what I have to do now.
Gabrielle, you had a very emotional moment in the courtroom. And before you go making any snap decisions, I think you should rest and think this thing through a
Dan,
little bit.
I know Gabrielle appreciates your help, but I think that this is a legal problem, not a medical one.
So, in other words, you want me to get lost?
I would like to spend some time alone with my client.
Fine, I understand. Gabrielle, my advice still stands. Until you've collected yourself, don't rush into anything.
Dan, the least I can do is to thank you.
No, don't thank me. Just take care of yourself. In every way.
Well, I hate to say it, but sometimes doctors are smarter than us lawyers.
Oh, yes.
They gave you good advice, you know.
Yeah, everybody has great advice for me, but I think I can make my own choice.
Even if it kills you.
I am tired of fighting, and I would like this torment to end.
It will, but not this way, Gabrielle. Look, I know what Max said up on the stand cut you deeply, and I'm sorry. I really am. I know that it hurts, but Max's love, or his lack of it, isn't worth throwing your life away.
You don't understand? What life do I have?
That's the way it is now. But things change, you know? You might change. You give up right now, and you plead guilty, you're going to face 10, maybe 20 years in prison. Now think about that, 20 years in prison. And I know Judge Carlin, he's not going to tolerate any more vacillations. If you change your plea now, it's going to stay that way, guilty. So you got to ask yourself one very important question. Is Max's love really worth the price?
More than a weekend, more than a retreat, the Awareness Age Center promises you 2 days and 2 nights that will change your life forever.
How's that for a sales pitch? If there's any truth in advertising, this is going to be the greatest adventure since Ponce de Leon found the fountain of youth.
And that's why we want you and Asa to join us, to share it with us.
Share what? And how much is it going to cost me?
So much for awareness.
Oh, come on in, Pop. We're here to invite you and Renee to a very special weekend.
Hey, Lake Tahoe, Vegas?
No, Mr. Life in the Fast Lane. Something truly exciting.
A new concept of the new age.
Once you get there and you join in, Pa, it's all going to become clear to you. It's going to become, there you go, crystal clear.
Asa, that's a crystal. It can help you when
I know what it's for, Sarah. I also read the Sunday supplement in the Banner. But tell me more.
Okay. Well, Mom set this up for me and Bo to go, and she said we could bring along the guests of our choice.
We couldn't think of anybody who needs to get in touch with his real self more than you, Pa.
I've been in touch with myself all my life, Bo. How the hell do you think I got where I am today?
Good question.
Asa, actually, this weekend it's not about making money or success. It's about interpersonal growth.
Come again?
It's all spelled out right here in this brochure, Pa. You spend 2 days exercising your body and your mind, but most important, your spirit.
My spirit.
Asa, think of it as an aerobics for the soul.
Right, and there are encounter groups every morning and every evening.
You mean to tell me we're sitting around with perfect strangers talking about ourselves?
No, come on, Pa, give it a try. We're going to be up there in these beautiful mountains, all the fall colors, just loving and sharing. You're going to get back here to Landview, and you are going to be a whole new man.
Hey, what's wrong with this old man, Bo? This weekend may be peachy keen for you all, but count me out. No guru with a ring in his nose is going to tell me how to think and behave.
No, for the love of the money.
No, Bo. No, your Pa's right. He doesn't need a guru. Tell him how to think. He's got a wife for that. You two go ahead and confirm our reservation.
What? Now, you listen to me, Renee. I'm not going.
No, you listen to me, Asa Buchanan. You are joining me for a weekend of relaxation and inner peace, whether you like it or not. Excuse me, Mr. Grand. There's a gentleman to see you.
I told you I don't want any visitors.
Yes, sir, but the gentleman...
Don't blame her, Michael. Blame me. I had an idea you'd refuse to see me, but this is just too important to wait.
Really, sir, I told
It's
you.
all right, Jeanette. Thank you. I should warn you, Clint, I have had a hellish morning at Gabrielle's trial. I am not interested in any further turmoil.
Well, I know all about turmoil. But I just found out something that is so fantastic and unbelievable. And frankly, I need some answers, and you're the only one I know that can give them to me.
I find that very hard to believe.
It's true. I went by to get up the file that you had told me about. I ran into Clint. He asked me if I'd seen you or talked to you. I said I hadn't, and I left. No fireworks, no punches thrown.
Then why did you come up here to try to get me to come home?
Because of the pain I saw in his eyes, and frankly, I sympathized. Is it really fair of you to see me and refuse to see him?
Well, whose fault is that, huh? It's Clint's fault that I'm up here in this self-imposed isolation anyway. I feel like a virtual exile in my own house. Now he has bruised feelings. I'm supposed to say all is forgiven. I'll come home.
No. I'm not saying that you should forget your grievances. Far from it. But this isolation isn't solving your problems either.
Going toe-to-toe with Clint, with his anger, is that going to solve anything?
At least you'll know where you stand.
Oh, Roger, I don't know what. I have to think about this, all right? Maybe I'll just go for a walk.
That's a good idea. I'll come with you.
No, I think I need a little time to myself to think about it. If you don't mind waiting.
No, I'm becoming an expert at waiting. A little longer won't matter.
Excuse me.
And our critics said Old Arizona wasn't authentic. Turns out we were actually Buchanan City.
That's right. Exactly. And I'm hoping that you can tell me some more about the place.
Well, there's nothing to tell you. Probably the worst investment I ever made, Clint. I sank a small fortune into the place, and all I have to show for it are some painful memories.
Well, I didn't mean to remind you of things like that when Max and Gabrielle came out there to, find you and the baby.
I'm glad to know that, because if I never set foot on the land again, it'll be too soon.
Well, you see, I've got a whole different idea about that country. I mean, I don't know what it is. I just feel the need to get to know the place and know the land and know the time.
Well, if you're determined to go, I can do one thing for you. These are the keys to my private quarters at the Old Arizona Hotel. Be my guest.
Well, thank you. Thanks, I appreciate it.
I've kept the skeleton crew there, maintaining everything, just in case we decided to reopen it. I'll tell them to expect you and Viki.
Well, Viki won't be going out.
Oh?
No.
Well, I hope you find what you're looking for anyway.
So do I. And again, thanks for your help.
Sure. Oh, wait a minute. I'll walk you out. I should get back to the courthouse.
Sorry you have to go through that, hell.
Well, some things are worth it, don't you think? Family, justice, things like that.
You know what? I think maybe you and I have more in common than I thought we did.
Are you going to stand there and defend what you did?
I don't have to. I had a job to do when I did it. As for your tender sensibilities, they're safe now. I made my point. I don't...
Yeah, you made your point, all right, by interrupting me every time I tried to explain. You painted Gabrielle as evil incarnate.
I was looking for the truth.
Oh, doing your almighty
You know what
truth.
that is?
Does that lead to justice, Herb? Really? Does it lead to justice or just more suffering? How much blood do you want from Gabrielle? One more pound of flesh going to do it? No, don't you walk out on me.
Don't you ever touch me.
Is that what you want from me? Is that what really gives you kicks, huh?
Touch me again.
Are you okay here, Mr. Callison?
Well, yes. We're fine, Sam. Mr. Holden is just expressing his views on jurisprudence. Now that we've all heard them, I'm going to lunch.
No, Max, come on. I think Herbert's right. Let's just go to lunch. We can come back. I'm sure it'll be fine, all right?
Let's need some help.
Please.
No, don't worry.
I'm gonna go punch a tree or something, clear my head.
Megan, don't start with me. One more word about Max, and I swear I'm going to punch you.
You can't stay out of trouble, can you, girl?
Call her. She's all yours. I'm going to go find Max. You come all this way to make fun of me?
Nope. Just thought you'd want to hear the news.
You're looking at the new office boy for the Lambview Banner. Well, aren't you going to say something?
Sounds nice.
Nice. We're talking a real job with steady pay.
Yeah, well, that's great if you're looking for something like that, but I thought you wanted adventure and travel.
Oh, yeah? I do. Eventually. But travel costs money. I got to put something away before I can start out. You know that.
Yeah, I know. Most people dream big and think small. And then one day they end up sitting behind a desk, looking at travel posters and not going anywhere.
You saying that's going to happen to me?
I'm saying I hope you don't let it.
Well, I got news for you, Andrea. You haven't cornered the market on taking chances. At least I'm doing something with my life instead of standing on the sidelines taking pot shots at people.
Tyler, come on.
He is free to go in this ridiculous weekend and make a complete fool of himself with my blessing, but I am staying put.
I just may take you up on that, you big bully. Truth told, you probably need this weekend more than anyone.
Now, come on, Asa. We need you to come. In fact, I was looking forward to spending a little time with my future father-in-law.
Well, I'll tell you something. You could spend your time a lot better by putting a leash on your father to keep him away from Viki.
Asa, whoa. I mean, honey, you can snort fire at me if you want, but please, not at Sarah.
No, it's all right. Actually, I'm getting used to it. Bo said something quite like it just the other day, didn't you, honey? Anyway, the point is, that's one reason why I think this weekend would be so good for us. I mean, it would give us a chance to focus on ourselves instead of being so involved in other people's problems.
And the other people, she means...
Viki, Roger, and Clint. I am not stupid, you know, even though I haven't been enlightened yet.
All right, honey, I think what Sarah is trying to say that we could all use a little bit of enlightening, especially when it comes to the others that we love in this family.
Come on, Pa. What these women are saying, it makes a lot of sense.
All right, I'll go.
Glory, hallelujah. Asa, darling, you are not going to regret this.
You had better be right about that, madam. Because if this turns into some kind of hippie love-in, I'm not spending the night.
Hey, Tyler, where'd you rush it off to,
Hey,
son?
Court, sorry, I was just on my way over to the Banner.
Oh, that's funny. We're just on our way from the Banner. Oh, I'm sorry, Linda Millen. I'd like you to meet the newest copy boy over at the Banner, Tyler McGillis.
Hello, Tyler. I guess we'll be seeing a lot of each other.
We will?
Yeah. Linda is an award-winning trial reporter. Shipped in especially from Philadelphia just to help cover Gabrielle's trial.
I thought you were covering the trial.
Well, yeah, I was until Clint said he was going to go out of town for a while, so that makes me editor-in-chief for some time while he's out in old Arizona.
The theme park?
Yeah. You know anything about that?
Are you kidding? I'm the one that told Clint all about it. But he didn't say he was planning to go out there.
Well, from what I hear, it was kind of a sudden decision.
Court, maybe I should just go inside and let you
No,
go.
that's okay. I gotta make tracks.
Oh, hey, how do you like that for loyalty? The boy wants to start his job right away.
Actually, Court, I was wondering if I could postpone my starting up at the Banner.
Postpone? Wait, I thought you...
I need a few days to get some things in order. It shouldn't take more than a week, if that's okay.
Well, hey, if you need the time, sure, that's
Thanks,
fine.
you won't be sorry. Nice meeting you, Miss Mellon.
Great. Been in charge of the Banner all the 10 minutes, already lost one employee.
Hey, you thought life at the top was going to be easy?
Good luck.
You're right, John. 20 years is more than just a sentence. It's a part of a lifetime. And I'm not the sort of girl who goes and throws herself on a sacrificial fire just because the man she loves doesn't love her.
Gabrielle, I know how painful this is for you.
I will be fine, John. This pain's going to go away. And I owe you an apology. You have given me a lot of very good advice, and I have refused to listen to it. And I'm sorry. Max is the father of my son, so there will always be a special bond between us. And he is still the same man who walked out on me in Argentina. So as you say, why should I throw away my life on a man who doesn't love me and obviously never will?
Those are brave words. I know what it cost you to say them. Because it all started with Max. And it still hasn't ended, has it?
No. I love him. And I always have. And I've always held on to some hope that he would love me too.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with loving somebody and hoping that he'll love you back.
Yes, there is. There is when it turns you into someone that you're not, like it did with me. If you had known me in Argentina, God, you wouldn't have recognized me then. I was very honorable and very proud and full of morals. And then I met this man named Max Holden, and everything changed. Then after he walked out on me, I realized that the righteous way of doing things really doesn't work. It gives you a lot of disappointment and pain.
Sometimes. Sometimes it leads you right where you want to go, when you least expect it.
What are you trying to tell me now?
I don't think you're ready to forget Max, any more than I believe Max doesn't love you.
You heard him on the witness stand.
Yeah, I heard him, and I don't buy it. If he doesn't love you, why does he try so hard to help you? Now, come on, I've been around the block a few times in my life. I've never seen a guy knock himself out for a woman he didn't care very deeply about.
Yes, he cares about me as Al's mother.
Bull. His feelings for you are strictly man to woman. And I'm telling you, those are feelings that can save you yet. But you gotta be willing to go along with me. Now, before we go back in the courtroom, I've got some very tough questions I have to ask you. So what do you say? Are you willing to go back in there and fight to save your life?
I believe the session is about to begin again. Excuse me.
Please, Julia, wait. Let's talk.
Michael, you said enough in the courtroom to last me a lifetime.
I am very angry at your daughter, to say the very least. And some of that came out when I was on the stand. But please, would you remember that losing my son has been devastating for me?
And therefore Gabrielle has to make amends for a lifetime?
The jury will decide that.
Oh, that's very easy for you to say now after totally trashing her in there in front of them.
Julia, there's no reason for us to be enemies. I don't hold you responsible for any of your daughter's actions.
Well, that's very magnanimous of you. Forgive me if I'm less than overwhelmed. For the rest of my life, whenever I see you, I shall see the face of the man who tried to murder my daughter in cold blood. And that, Mr. Grand, is something I will never forget or forgive.
Mr. Callison, do you have any more questions for Mr. Holden?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the defense would like to cross-examine.
Very well, the witness will return to the stand. I urge you to remember, Mr. Holden, that you are still under oath.
Mr. Holden, you've already stated that when you were in Buenos Aires, Don Alonso offered to sell you his ranch. You came to the United States to finance that purchase.
Yes.
Did you buy the ranch?
No, I inherited it when he died.
So why aren't you living there now?
Sold it.
You sold it. Why did you sell it?
Mostly because of Dante Medina.
The defendant's father.
Did everything he could to steal it from me.
In fact, stealing came natural to Dante Medina, didn't it?
If you're calling him a thief, that's putting it mildly.
How would you put it?
Dante Medina was a drug dealer and a common murderer. Every bit as evil as Don Alonso was good.
Like father, like daughter, huh?
I don't follow you.
No, I think my meaning is very clear, Mr. Holden. If Dante Medina was a loathsome human being, it stands to reason that his daughter, whom he raised, would have turned out the same way.
You know what you're talking about. She's nothing like her father.
I find that hard to believe.
Well, then you don't know Gabrielle. Her father was cold and manipulating. She was sweet and nice and decent.
Hindsight's 20/20, I guess.
No, you don't know her the way I knew her. Then no one in this court knows how she was then.
Well, then please, enlighten all of us.
It would be my pleasure. When I first met Gabrielle, there was an innocence, a purity that I've never seen in any other woman. She trusted everyone, and she believed in everyone. And there was this kind of faith in the world and everybody in it that just shone in her eyes.
That shone in her eyes? Are we talking about the same Gabrielle Medina that you just spoke of earlier to Mr. Callison?
Of course, it's the same Gabrielle. Maybe if she'd stayed in Buenos Aires, if she hadn't left and her dreams and her illusions hadn't been broken, maybe. But she came to Lambview. And ever since she's been here, she's been changing. Well, no, hold it, no. That's not entirely accurate. Events and forces have made her change, made her not act entirely honest sometimes, and made her her own worst enemy.
Well, hold it, is that forces and events? I mean, let's not be so abstract, shall we? When Gabrielle came to Lambview, if she changed, you caused the changes, didn't you?
Well, now, Your Honor, Mr. Russell may know where he's going with this line of questioning. I don't.
I'm going for the truth, Your Honor. I think we can all see that what Mr. Holden is telling us now doesn't jibe with what he just told the prosecution. But then again, he wouldn't be the first man in love to perjure himself either.
Mr. Russell, are you suggesting that the witness lied under oath?
Well, Your Honor, the kind of lies that men and women tell all the time. Mr. Holden denies emphatically that he loves Gabrielle, yet every time she is under attack, he rises, he leaps to her defense.
And defense is leaping to conclusion.
Very well, I'll let Mr. Holden speak for himself. Mr. Holden, you've already testified that you tried to convince the defendant to confess that she switched the babies at the Lambview Hospital. Yes. What was your method?
My method?
Yes, what steps did you use to convince her?
When Brenda first told me about her suspicions, I confronted Gabrielle directly. Unfortunately, she was still stonewalling.
But that didn't stop you, did it? If anything, you kept up the pressure. How?
Well, I added a new storyline to the plot of Fraternity Row.
What was the nature of that storyline?
It was about two babies being switched in a nursery. I was hoping that when Gabrielle saw it, she would have to confess the truth.
Did she?
No.
Did it stop you?
No.
No. No, you kept on prodding. You kept on pushing. Now, was there ever a time when you felt that Gabrielle was even close to telling you the truth?
Yeah, there was once. Just for an instant, I saw a chink in the armor, but Michael Grant came in and interrupted it. The moment was lost.
Well, what was your method that time?
Well, there was no method. I just tried to let her know I cared about her and that she could trust me.
And this moment that you took to show your concern and trust for her, that took place at your bar, Max's place, didn't it?
How did you know that?
And was there anyone else there, that is, before Michael Grant appeared?
No. We were alone.
You were alone? So what did you do? Did you grab her? Did you rough her up, shake her into telling you the truth then?
No, I didn't do anything like that.
Well, what was it like then?
I tried to get close to her.
Close? How close? How close, Mr. Holden?
Very close.
So you tried to seduce her into telling you the truth, right?
I tried to appeal to her conscience.
By appealing first to her love. You held her in your arms, you kissed her. Fact is, you would have made love to her if Michael Grant hadn't burst in, right?
I couldn't reach her. I had no other choice.
No other choice. Are you sure it wasn't something else? Are you sure you didn't hold her in your arms and kiss her because you wanted her to believe that you loved her? Did you want her to believe that you loved her, Mr. Holden?
Yes.
And that was just a lie, right? No truth to it whatsoever, or were you finally admitting your love for Gabrielle?
I'm glad I caught you before your flight took off. Well, just barely. I'm getting ready to board the plane. But you didn't have to come down here to see me off.
Well, I didn't come here to see you off, Clint. In fact, I was hoping to be able to talk you out of this trip altogether so you'd stay here in Lambview.
And just why should I do that?
Please, just hear me out on this, all right? But if you wanted to go out west to do some exploring, I could certainly understand that. Hell, I would give my eye teeth to do something like that myself. But Clint, if you take off just now, it's kind of like you're running away from a problem. Clint, now, if I were in your shoes...
You'd what? If you were in my shoes, what would you do?
I like to think that I would go up to that mountain cabin, grab Viki by the hand, and bring her back home so you could try to work out your marriage.
Look, Cord.
Clint, come
come on, your marriage is in some serious trouble right now. I would think that you want to work it out, and you'd give anything to do that.
Well, that's pretty strange advice coming from a fella who hasn't done a damn thing to get his own wife back home.
Totally different circumstances, Clint, because I'm not even sure I want to work out my marriage just now. But I know that you want to work things out with Viki.
Yes, I do. I do, but I am not ready to face her yet and try and thrash things out.
So you think staying 1,000 miles apart right now is going to help me?
I think that if I get out to Buchanan City, I'll have a chance to get my thinking straight. Because if Viki and I are going to get back together, I'm going to have to find a way to understand and accept her feelings for another man, for Roger Gordon. Otherwise, we're just going to keep on fighting.
Well, it's obvious you've made your mind up about this, Clint. I guess all I can say is, I hope you're doing the right thing.
So do I. I'm sorry I'm dumping all the problems of the banner on your shoulders.
Please, what are you talking about? I love the work. In fact, it'll help me keep my mind off of some of my problems right now. Listen, you have a safe trip, Paul. Okay?
All right.
And I'm going to take care of the banner for you. Don't worry. I guess I better get going because I got a newspaper to put out.
Take care, son.
You too.
Announcing West Air Flight 212, now boarding for Phoenix at Gate 3.
Mr. Buchanan?
Tyler, what the hell are you doing here?
Same as you, boss. I'm catching that flight to Arizona. I'm going with you to Buchanan City.
Aren't you the same fella who wanted to go to work at the banner?
Well, I can always do that when I get back. Cord says so.
Cord knows about this little trip of yours?
Not really, but I told him I had some important things to take care of before I start work. Heck, Clint, you need me.
Oh, really, do I?
I know that sagebrush territory like I know my own room. And all you got to go on out there is that old map. I got it all memorized right up here.
Well, you sure don't lack any for self-confidence, I'll say that for you.
Then you'll take me with you to old Arizona?
Well, now, hold on just a minute. I mean, for a fellow who's not even earning a paycheck yet, how are you going to finance this little trip?
Oh, that. I was hoping you'd give me an advance on my salary. I'll pay you back as soon as I do a week's work at the banner. Okay, maybe a month's work, whatever it takes.
You know, maybe you're right, Mr. McGillis. Maybe I could use you. Anybody with your nerve has got to come in kind of handy. All right, let's get you a plane ticket. All right. You don't mind flying tourist?
Depends. Where are you sitting?
How would you walk?
Oh, it's lovely. Very beautiful now. All the colors, the reds, the yellows, the goldens, browns, everything in between. A person should be able to be up here and savor every moment.
That's one choice.
Yes. And if I choose to stay, it means I'm choosing to avoid what is waiting for me at home, right?
That's the way I see it.
Well, as usual, much as I hate to admit it, I think yours is the right way. I know I have responsibilities. I have responsibilities to my children and myself and to you.
And to Clint.
And to Clint, yes. And hiding up here isn't going to do anybody any good, so I guess I'd better tackle my problems head on. The sooner the better, before this situation deteriorates even more.
Well, I'm glad you see it that way. Well, one way or the other, Victoria. Hopefully, things will turn out for the best.
Oh, Roger. Oh, I wish you could guarantee me that.
I could, including seduction. Yes, in the heat of the moment. But if I led Gabrielle to believe that I loved her, I honestly wasn't aware of it.
Well, what were you thinking then when you held her so close and started ripping off her clothes?
Your Honor, I'm way ahead of you, Mr. Callison. Mr. Russell, I'll allow you to continue, but without the graphic details.
Yes, Your Honor, I will be happy to rephrase. Mr. Holden, when you held Gabrielle in your arms, if you weren't thinking of love, what were you thinking of?
I was thinking of one thing. I was thinking of how to get her to confess about Brenda's baby, but then Michael came in, threw some punches. That was the end of it.
Michael Grant hit you?
Yeah, I have the black eye to prove it.
Well, it's odd behavior, isn't it? Getting in a fight with a man over a woman you're not in love with?
He did the fighting. I was just the punching bag.
But that wasn't the first time that you took it on the chin for Gabrielle either, was it? You stated that you followed her to old Arizona when she was looking for Michael and the baby, right?
As I explained before, I knew she went to Arizona to try to bring the baby back on her own.
And you went there to protect her. Just the actions of a concerned citizen, not a man in love.
I have never denied that I was concerned about her.
Well, with good reason. Michael Grand has already admitted that he felt an uncontrollable rage towards the defendant. He was a desperate, dangerous man, and yet you went after Gabrielle in order to protect her.
To get the baby back.
Did you get in any trouble while you were there?
Not from Michael.
Well, how about from a cowboy named Clint? Didn't you take a very dangerous fall over a balcony in order to try and save Gabrielle?
I did that to find the baby. I posed as an actor's stuntman to find where Michael was hiding. And I deliberately took that fall so they would have to take me to the infirmary, the same building where Michael was keeping the baby.
So many schemes, though, so many risks, all for your brother's child. No personal involvement where Gabrielle Badid is concerned, is there?
Just because I care about the woman does not mean I love her. Why am I on trial all of a sudden here?
You're not. We're just trying to establish your feelings for the defendant.
I've explained them. I've explained them to her. I've explained them to you. I've explained them to everyone in the whole damn place.
And why don't you explain why you knocked out a guard at the Lambview jail?
Because I had to.
You had to? For whose sake? Little Stephen McGillis, maybe?
Because I had a feeling that Gabrielle was in trouble.
You had a feeling. It must have been a very deep feeling, because what you did is you rushed into jail, you knocked out a guard, and you saved her from a faulty gas man.
Well, someone had to do it.
Somebody didn't do it. Somebody didn't have the feeling. Somebody didn't rescue Gabrielle Medina. You did. And you're expecting all of us to believe that you did that out of sympathy and friendship?
Yes.
Mr. Holden, you, my friend, are a lousy liar. Because a man will live for many, many things, but a man will only die for one thing. And that is love.
Wait. Hold it. You're wrong about this. This thing you're mistaking for love, that's a father trying to do what is right for his son, for his family.
So you see yourself as a family, you and Al and Gabrielle.
She's the mother of my child. Of course I don't want her to be in prison.
For Al's sake.
For her sake. She's paid for her crimes enough, for 100 crimes. Even Brenda feels she's redeemed herself by trying to help bring the baby back. Now look, I do not want my boy raised while his mother's wasting her life in prison.
And your personal feelings have nothing to do with it.
I said this before. Ever since I left Argentina, that was the end of our so-called love affair.
Not quite. I'm sorry to bring this up, but when your brother Steve Holden was lying in a coma in the hospital, still married to Gabrielle, you made love to her.
It wasn't like that.
Well, then what was it like? Did you make love to her or didn't you?
We both regretted what happened immediately. Now, what we did happened because of our concern for Steve. We were distraught. We were disturbed. And we turned to each other for a moment. It was for one night.
Yet you still say that forces and events have ruined this innocent young woman. Yet how many times have you held her? Have you made love to her with your body or your thoughts, only to pull the ground right out from under her and send her reeling all over again?
I told you I'm not proud of everything I've done.
But love hath no pride, isn't that right?
I'm not in love with her. I told you I don't love her.
What about when she was first arrested? You came to me, you asked me to defend her. You even said you'd pay my legal fees, or am I making that all up too?
Oh, you're not making it.
Yeah, and then bail was set, right? You said that you would mortgage your business, your home, in order to raise the cash.
I couldn't let her rot in jail, could I?
Some men could have, but not you. No, even when she skipped bail and flew to Arizona, you didn't curse her for losing your $250,000 down the drain. You still supported her and defended her.
For my son.
That's the lies, Mr. Holden. If it looks like love, if it acts like love, isn't it reasonable for reasonable men to call it love?
All right, I have feelings for her, okay? Not just as Al's mother, I care for her as a woman. Is that what you want me to say? Does that make you happy?
Not quite. Do you love her?
Yes, I love her. All right, some part of me's always loved her. Maybe it always will. Is that what you wanted me to say? Is that it? Huh?
You stay right there, Mr. Holden. You're not finished.